Yo, what's happening, Raider Nation? It's your boy Soto here. You know what it is. Raiders versus the world. Talk about the team that the world loves to hate, your Las Vegas Raiders. All right. I think most of us still have a little bit of a hangover from the game on Sunday. And it's been a couple days now, but still it's not an easy one to get over. You don't throw away easy wins like this and you can get over them that easy. This is a game that we should have won handily. It was a home game against a bad team who plays poorly on the road. And we just had to slip away. We had poor ball security. We fumbled the ball. We threw 3 picks. We weren't able to stop the Bears from driving late in the game. The defense was a little bit tired. I believe it was Jonah Laulu who missed on the block, on the wide man, at the field goal block at the end, and the field goal block ended the game. So, a lot of stuff that happened that's not easy to come back from. Having the lead in most of the game, turning the ball over as much as we did, and losing the lead late, that's tough. Having the field goal blocked when you had a lot of hope. You had Dylan Laube getting us a really good run back. You had a couple of good plays to get us in field goal position, and everything was set up. Everything was set up to win, and unfortunately, we didn't get it done. And good teams find ways to win this game, even when they lose a turnover battle, even when the opponent has 5 or 6 drives that start in your own territory. You find ways to win those games, and we just couldn't find a way to grasp that win. And these are things that we need to learn from and move on. And I really do believe that this coaching staff is doing a good job of teaching and developing this team. Remember, in the preseason, there was a lot of question marks. And there was some givens too. And the question marks seemed to be kind of ironed out. There was 3 big ones in my eyes. Question mark is, what's the defense going to look like, right? You have an almost brand new secondary. You have an all new linebacking core. And you have a pretty new interior defensive line. A lot of guys are in there that are, young guys, new guys to the team. What's going to happen? You got Malcolm Koonce coming off an injury. What's Tyree Wilson going to look like? A lot of question marks. There was that. Defense looked pretty good. There are one bad game against the Commanders, but the rest of the games, the defense looked solid. Another question mark was the offensive line. Didn't really make any changes to the offensive line. That wasn't a very good one last year. You signed Alex Kappa. What's he going to look like? Didn't look good. Offensive line hasn't looked good until this last game. Okay, if this is what we get moving forward, we're moving in the right direction. That's another question mark. Third question mark is drafting Ashton Jeanty at 6 too high? What kind of player is going to be in the NFL? Going from Boise to the NFL, what's that going to look like? I think he answered all those questions in this last game, and he's the guy that you can build an offense around. So those 3 question marks that the coaching staff worked on and developed week over week, and they're getting better. The defense getting better. The offensive line, yes, getting better. Ashton Jeanty's getting better. Now we got 3 givens. The 3 givens. First one, Maxx Crosby. You know what you're going to get from Maxx Crosby. Every play, every game, no matter what. He's going to give you everything. He's going to be a game record. He had a pretty crazy stat line. He had 5 tackles, all solo, 3 tackles for loss, I believe. He had like 2 or 3 pass defense. He had an interception, multiple pressures. He was all over the place. He filled the stat sheet. Whatever you can do defensively, he did it. Now, another given coming into the season was Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers voted by executives and scouts the number 1 tight end in the league. He's not getting targets. Now, is he injured? He looked pretty good the last couple drives of the game when he should have been tired if he was hurt. So the first 3 quarters, he gets 3 targets, 2 catches. The last quarter, he gets 3 targets, 3 catches. He needs to get 3 targets a quarter regardless. That's like you need to throw him the ball. So there are a lot of things that we have on this team that are question marks. Brock Bowers is not one. Even a diminished Brock Bowers, if he's okay to go out there, you need to use him like you normally would because he's going to find a way to make that happen. I think towards the end of the game, Chip Kelly had Geno Smith under center, more of a traditional style, pro style offense. You have a little more play action. You have things that you don't normally see in a shotgun formation in the run game. Well, that seemed to really help Ashton Jeanty. It also seemed to really help Brock Bowers as well. All right. So 1-for-1, right? You got Maxx Crosby, who's going to be him no matter what. You have Brock Bowers, who the team really isn't utilizing the way they should. Third given, Geno Smith, veteran quarterback, steady Eddie, going to go in there, take care of the ball. Nope. Hasn't been the case. A lot of really bad choices by this young man. And there's something to be said for playing within yourself. And I'm okay with my quarterback having a bad game. It happens. When he had that game against the Chargers, like, man, he's going to give you 1 or 2 of these a season maybe. It's just going to be rough. Well, he got these 2 out of the way. We can't have any more of this because, I've said it in the last few videos. Geno Smith is the reason why we lost these games. The Charger game was Geno Smith. This last game against the Bears, Geno Smith. Winnable games at home. Where do we go from here? How do we progress? Because ultimately, it's not reading the defense. It's not the system. It's not the weapons. It's not the talent, right? So we have all that at the quarterback position. Is the ego going to get in his way? Is the ego going to get in? Because I said in the last video, when I see Geno Smith not doing well early, he wants to go out there and just prove that he's the guy. You don't have to prove anything to anyone, Geno Smith. Just go out there and play your game. Go out there and stand behind the 2 running backs that we should have, Raheem Mostert and Ashton Jeanty. Run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. Be very selective and opportunistic in the pass game. I don't care if we don't throw the ball to anybody but Brock Bowers. Now we should, but that's got to be your mentality. Feed your best guy the ball. Once you see the defense really changing what they're doing, then you can take advantage of that. But ultimately, we need to make sure we're feeding Brock Bowers the ball. He's our best player on offense until proven otherwise. Ashton Jeanty is probably number 2. Get your playmakers the ball. Don't make it difficult. I think right now we're trying to overthink the room. If we were to Chip Kelly, overthink the room and make things a little bit too difficult right now. We don't need to do that. What we need to do is get the ball to our playmakers. Now, Pete Carroll had a press conference talking about the game and after watching film and all that stuff. And we're going to take a look at that in a little bit. But I'm very concerned about there's one thing that I really do appreciate and respect about Pete Carroll. He's not going to trash his players. He's not going to trash them. Whatever happens, he's not going to trash them. But there's a way you can get your point across without trashing your player, but without sounding disingenuous. And I think that's what it sounded like when Pete Carroll was discussing in the post-game presser when he was talking about Geno Smith and his throws. They were mistakes, and they were bad throws that shouldn't have happened. And for him to say that, the defense just made a great play, so we're just going to chalk it up to, defense made a great play. There's a way you can say, you know what? The plays shouldn't have been made. The defense was playing this well. It shouldn't have been thrown. They baited us twice. That's not trashing Geno. That's just stating facts. I know he's going to be better at this. We're going to coach him up. He's the guy that we need. He's the guy that we're counting on. And I think Geno likes the fact that we're counting on him. So it's something like that, right? But what we're getting is a bunch of excuses, even from Geno himself. Now, he says 2 different things. It's my fault, but then, they made a great play. Well, no. I watched the game over again. I watched the game film. There were bad plays. There were bad reads. They baited him into those throws the same way that the Chargers baited him into those throws. And he just trying to force the ball. And that was it. So I think the moment that we can sit down and say, look, Chip Kelly, Geno Smith, let's sit down and take a look at these plays. Because this is what the safety is doing. The game speed is a little bit different than practice. You may be hitting those in practice, but game speed is a little bit different. So we need to make sure that if you see this look, it's going to be a bad play unless you make a perfect throw. And it's difficult to make perfect throws. So if you see this combination on either the skinny post or the slant, anything that's attacking the seam, you got to go somewhere else. And I think this is going to be something now that's happened multiple times. We have to realize that this is what defenses are banking on. They've kind of seen the offense that Chip Kelly's running, and they're banking on those little skinny posts and the slants and all those throws that are going attacking the seams. Those are the throws that you can attack when it comes to Geno Smith. So hopefully that's what we see. Hopefully that's what the coaches see and Geno Smith sees, and we have a little bit of a different angle attacking this defense. All right, let's take a listen to what Pete Carroll had to say in the press conference today, the day after watching the tape, and see what his analysis is.
We're really filling it up today. Go ahead. You can have.
Curious, understanding that there's things that need to get cleaned up from yesterday, but are you able to, when you watch the film, kind of step back and say there were some positives in some areas that you guys have been stressing and prioritizing, to be able to appreciate that, but also express that to the team so that they don't lose sight of some of the core principles that you're trying to build here? And that,
when I got back to the office last night, I wasn't sure how I felt about the game and how it could affect us. It did affect us. And watching the film, the way the defense played under all of the challenges that they had, the aggressiveness, the consistency all the way throughout, the challenges of the sudden changes, I thought they were spectacular in that, in putting forth a great effort. For us to come out of that game and run the football as well as we did, and protect the quarterback as well as we did, to see Ashton, you guys have all said it. Everybody's been saying, well, he just needs to break one run or whatever. Well, he did, and he had a great game, and he looked fantastic for us. And Raheem looked really good too. I thought the two complemented well, and I thought Chip did a nice job of taking what was there in the running game, and it was a big game for us, So when I come out of away from, watching the film last night, I saw nothing but upside. And because the ability to run the football, to have a running back that is a real threat, a running game that's a real threat, allows us so much balance, so much better chance for balance in what you present to your opponent. And that's what I've always been seeking. And I thought that was the first time it really felt like that. And I'm going with it. I'm going with it. We're going to continue to do the things that make a good football team, present themselves to your opponents. And you have to do all of those things well. And so it doesn't mean that you run the ball the whole game. It means that you have that opportunity when you get your chances that you can take advantage of it. And that feeds the play action game, and it keeps us out of dropping back and adds to the protection, which it couldn't have been more classically demonstrated by no sacks. Geno ran the ball really well out of the pocket and got out of there. So all of that comes back to it's about the football. We gave the ball up too much, and it wasn't that they scored with it, because I think somebody said some stat about we've had a ton of turnovers here at Allegiant, and opponents have scored like 12 points off those turnovers. Whatever is that the right number?
13.
Yeah. So that just paints a picture of where we're capable of going. It happens to be 1-3, and I can't do nothing about that right now. But what we do going forward is build from this opportunity to be a balanced, well-presented, difficult defense to run the football at, a team that can stay on top and do those things right. Now, the other problem is we've had some issues in the kicking game that have been significant. Getting the game winner blocked is significant. And the week before we weren't very good. The Washington game was really an outlier for how we played, and that's done also. But I think we can feel by the end of this meeting today, and by the time I get with our guys and show them what we're talking about, we're going to have a feeling of what we are going forward. Also, you're not asking any questions, so I'm just going to keep yapping. This was a really important game for us to demonstrate to ourselves what we are when we play at home, and the effort and the mentality and the willingness to hang with it no matter what happened was demonstrated. That's the mark of a team that I recognize and that I'm trying to build, and so I felt good about that stuff. And unfortunately, we lose by a point, so that's kind of what it felt like.
Go ahead. Pete, in regards to Colton Miller, was it a high ankle sprain that he suffered, and are you anticipating him missing multiple?
I don't have any updates on it, but and the MRI stuff is, I don't know if it's here yet. Hasn't been brought to me yet, but it possibly is. Yeah, I'm going to see what it's all about. They'll figure it out when they get the MRIs back.
Regarding to the offense, and in case he is like out for multiple games, like where is Charles Grant at the development process and his development process? And I know it's going to be between him and Stone Forsythe, but like in regards to Grant, like how do you confident if he has to go out there? How come?
When you all of a sudden you face the chance of him starting, we got to make sure we take care of him through this process. He's capable of playing. He's done really well for us, but we'll look after him in giving him his opportunity to start. Stone's played a lot of football and done a nice job for us since he's been here, and he would be the first choice. But this is an opportunity for Charles to make a charge for it, and we'll see how he does. He's done really well so far, so we'll see what happens.
When you watch the film over, it looked like Geno was just trying to force things, just trying to make things happen. Is that an accurate assessment?
No, that's not. No, he wasn't. No, he never tries to force things. So I'm using your words. He may force things, but in the case, he saw the safety. He read it. We practiced the looks in practice numerous times, and he thought the ball would get there. He thought he could beat the guy, and he didn't on either one of them. And so he knew exactly what happened, and he was committed to the throw, and he beat him all week long in practice, and he thought he had it. So that's what happened. And unfortunately, it came back and bit him again. It was a little bit of a different look, but the same concept, and they got him. And he's a little bit of a hard head, and that he thought he could get it done because he prepared to get it done. So unfortunately, the rhythm was just a hair off of what it had been in practice, and so they make a big play on us. So the bootleg pass that he throws back in, he's thrown millions of those, and it's a tremendous play by the guy to undercut the Jacoby on that one. So he wouldn't throw that one again. He would say no, probably the other pass that was really a crucial one was the one to Dante, and the crosser down in there. That was a really big play opportunity for us. We walk in the end zone probably on that one, and the ball was low. D's got to make the catch, but he's got to throw a better ball too. And I think when you talk to Geno and you talked to him yesterday, he ain't backing away from nothing. He'll tell you exactly, that he was responsible and he needs to make the play and come through and do that for us. He knows that. And so that allows us to move forward together and make progress. So unfortunately, those numbers are just outrageous for us, and particularly a team that has it on their wall about it's all about the ball. For us to give it up like that was unfortunate. What I wanted to say about what happened with the turnovers, because the defense responded so well, is we lost our chances to score when the offense was out there, more so than what they did with it when they took it away from us. Is it took us out of 3 drives, and not making on fourth down took us out of a 4th drive. So we scored 24 points anyway. So we might have been on the board for big numbers on that day had we not done that.
On the back end of that, when you do have a veteran guy like Geno, who you're very comfortable with, would you say easier to kind of give him worse affirmation and kind of critique him on certain things versus kind of having to build up a younger quarterback? You have somebody that you're. Yeah,
I'm not worried about his confidence. No, he knows, and he has to reevaluate. The timing of the choice, and that wasn't. He was too comfortable in the throw. He ripped it. He ripped both those throws, feeling like the ball's going to get there. And that's what I'm concerned about. Is I'm going to make sure we're practicing him so that he understands that some of those throws aren't there. He hits everything in practice. He's ridiculously accurate and has been the whole time we've been together. And so he's really confident. And so he thought he could get it, and game speed was a little bit different. So that's where he grows. The game speed is a little bit different than the practice that we can create, and some of those choices go to checkdowns.
Pete, when it comes to Raheem Mostert, will he be kind of like your second running back option moving forward, or how will that competition between him and Zamir White play out?
I really like the way Rob ran in this game, and we're going to see him again next week. He deserves another chance to stay with it. It's been a competition, just like we've been typically talking about the whole time, and Raheem hasn't done anything that we didn't like up until now. It was really about special teams and some other choices with Zamir, and so those guys are battling it out. But I want to see Raheem again this next week.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, for Jack Bash, I believe he only had like 5 offensive snaps yesterday. What's going to take to come in?
He just needs more. I've already addressed that one. That we just need to get him out there more. He's in rotations and all that just didn't get him enough snaps. So he's capable of playing more snaps and should.
On the blocked field goal, I think Jonah was in there probably from Michael Mayer. Michael Mayer normally plays that position. That, and then also, it sounded like the Bears had made mention of maybe that Jacob was tipping in a little something.
Yeah, that's we've looked at all that. We don't see what he's talking about. But good for him. It was a great play. It was a great play. Whatever he keyed on.
We've talked about JPJ a lot. I just wanted to ask about his hustle plays to get
appreciate
fired down on what could have been a pick six and also make another tackle on the interception. What did you just see from him and the effort?
Yeah, I'm glad you saw that because he played with terrific effort, played tough as hell yesterday, really went for it, knowing that he's competing too, and which it brought out a really bright side of his strengths. He's tough, he's physical. When he got his chances, he came through, made a couple big plays on those, but he also made some really good blocks and did a nice job for us, and the running game really popped, and so he deserves a chance to go again.
As somebody who maybe watched Maxx Crosby from afar before you got here, to see him and what he does on the field all over the place in person, does even that impress you?
Yeah, I can't believe we've been here for 10 minutes and I haven't even mentioned him. I mean, really, his play is just crazy good. If you think about it, this is what I've been impressed because I've been here, through the preseason with him. He did those same things in preseason. Every time he's been on the field, he makes things happen. And he's doing it with limited opportunities because he's getting doubled all the time in pass pro, and the ball's going away from him the whole time in the games. They're running away from him. But he makes the plays from the backside, and if you challenge him, he's been there. I mean, he's all over the football, and almost had 2 picks. This was his first pick he ever got. I'm shocked at that because he just seems like he should have had more in the same circumstances. The perimeter passing game, he's eliminating it by himself, by knocking the balls down and challenging the quarterback. So, but the best part about it, that's who Maxx is, and you guys know because you're around him, you listen to him, you hear him, and how consistent he is about his approach to the game and all of that. It's just should be as celebrated as you can make it because he's the real deal, and it's a joy to watch him work, joy to watch him play, and you don't know what's going to happen next. He's got a little bit of unpredictability about him in a lot of areas of his life, and it's a wonderful attribute that comes through in his play and for his teammates and all of that. So couldn't be more proud of him.
There might be like no correlation at all, but would you say maybe, him getting moved back in coverage a little bit off the line of scrimmage this season, you think that might help a little bit more with his vision and being able to time the ball and getting that interception?
Well, I do think if you notice, we're moving him around quite a bit, and he's been really open to it. We drop him once in a while. We do some things with him because he's just available to make things happen. It fits him, and he doesn't have to rush the passer from the left side the whole time to be Maxx Crosby. He can do a lot of stuff, and so we're going to continue to do that and be creative with it. And he's such a natural athlete that things come easy to him, So he'll make plays in coverage. He had a coverage drop where he was going to sack the quarterback, which was, it can happen there too, And the quarterback did a nice job and got rid of the football, but. He's just been very effective in everything we're doing. We're going to keep moving him around, hopefully make it hard on the opponents.
Just overall, what have you liked about the defensive line, how they played through 4 weeks?
Yeah, the running game has really been in hand. What happened in the Commanders thing got us out of whack a little bit, but we're playing the running game as well as anybody right now. And Jonah's doing a really good job. Thomas Booker's doing a really nice job. All of the guys, Malcolm's given his contributions on the edge, so they're all contributing to it. And then we play pretty big and strong with our linebackers too. Those guys are a big part of that as well. So I'm really pleased with that. It's where you start. You start on the deep ball and up front in the running game on defense, and our guys they're giving us that kind of performance right now, and we're going to have to build on it. We're going to need it throughout. So everything that's already happened is already gone. What you going to do now that counts?
Pete, could you please discuss what you saw from Tyree when you watched the film?
Yeah, he played tough again, and he got caught up on a rush that stands out where we really had a big chance for another big play with Maxx coming off the backside from him. But he's made some tough plays. He's playing physical, and I think he's adding a lot to us.
Well, Michael Mayer, is any update on where he
No,
is?
I don't have any update, but there's a really good chance he'll be back. He felt pretty good at the end of the week.
What did you think of Ashton Jeanty going back to his original college stance in the back?
I loved it. I loved it.
You guys good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Peter.
So I'm gonna let you in on a little secret, okay? I don't normally watch these press conferences ahead of time. I like to just react to what I'm hearing, and I think it kind of gives a little bit more of a conversational feel to the show and what I'm doing here. And a lot of what I said came through in what Pete Carroll said. The whole practice thing, Geno was hitting that in practice. The game speed's a little bit different. Yeah, Geno Smith's a little bit hard-headed. This is the fourth interception on a similar concept, and it just seems like this is what the defenses are banking on. If you crash down hard on that seam route, you're going to get an opportunity to make a play on the ball. And Geno Smith feels like he can beat the safety down with the throw, and it's just not happening. So we just got to stop throwing that throw. We just got to stop throwing that throw altogether, do other things. There's plenty of other concepts and route combinations that we can use. Just stop throwing that throw. And I think with Pete Carroll's mentioning that Geno Smith is a little hard-headed in that throw, we probably is going to stop seeing that throw. Now, on top of that, we did hear a little bit about Charles Grant, which is a very interesting thing. Charles Grant was a pretty, high pick, 30-round pick is not a bad pick. It's a good pick. So you're drafted in the third round. You're expected to be a heavy contributor, at least in your rookie season, at least contribute some. Being on the sidelines and not even active for games is not what we're looking for in a third-round pick. He came from a small school. He was an FCS player, but he's been in with the pros the entire offseason. He's got a month in the regular season. He should be able to go out there and make some plays. You don't treat Stone Forsythe any different than you treat Charles Grant. If you put them in at left tackle because you don't want to disrupt the rest of the line, then you're going to have to put a tight end right next to him or two tackles, tackle eligible, and put them both side by side to really help out that tackle. So I'll tell you something right now. I think the upside is massive with Charles Grant. I think he could surprise you, get him out there. I think his play strength is going to get better with time. Also, he's much better mobility. His lateral mobility and his mean streak are two things that go check the video I did breaking down his tape from college. He's an absolute mauler. So I'm really excited about the possibility of having Charles Grant in there. Now, don't get me wrong. Colton Miller's still the number one. If Colton Miller's healthy, I want Colton Miller in there. If Colton Miller can't go, I do want it to be Charles Grant because I think you can get him started and get his clock running a little bit quicker and get him some game speed because I think it's something that we can I don't think we're going to lose anything from Stone Forsythe to Charles Grant. I think we're going to gain much more, not only in the game in the second half, but also in the future games as well. On top of that, Raheem Mostert's got to play. I'm very excited to hear that Pete Carroll said that Raheem Mostert and Jack Besh needs to get more snaps. Those are two guys I think that can be very effective for us. Jack Besh is like a hybrid, bigger receiver, small tight end type of guy. You can move around, use him very similar, like a H-back type. Breaking tackle has always been great. Yards after catch has always been great with Jack Besh. Getting him more snaps and more ability to go out there and contribute is going to be huge for him, and I think huge for this offense as well. I'm very excited to hear about Raheem Mostert. The run game with Raheem Mostert, you don't lose anything. When you go in and you get Zamir White in there, yeah, if it's blocked perfectly, it's going to get you some yards. Raheem Mostert has that speed where he can really attack the corners and at the edges and really put a lot of pressure on the edges of the defense. So having him as the speed and then having Jeanty's, the power, but with also the speed as well, I think it's going to be a good thing for this running game. So I see it very similar to Pete Carroll. Yes, the defense is playing much better than we had thought. The offensive line is kind of rounding out. Hopefully Colt Miller can play on Sunday. The running game is looking much better with Raheem Mostert in there as opposed to Zamir White to accompany Ashton Jeanty. Jack Besh can be a weapon for us. Hopefully Michael Mayer is back in there. We can use tight ends more. These are things that I think are going to be really helpful with the offense going against the Colts coming up. because now is the time. It has to happen now. We can't wait. The things that we've learned, we have to move forward. We can't take steps back anymore. We don't have time for that. We already screwed up too many games to take steps back. Geno Smith needs to be protected from himself. We need to get him easier throws, better planned throws. We need to script a better script for Geno Smith to not have that similar concept to be able to put the ball in danger. And we need to have a more run-heavy offense with both Ashton, Jeanty, and Raheem Mostert. I think that's a game plan for us. And also get the ball to Brock Bowers early and often. All right, guys, that's my time for today. Really appreciate you guys watching. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to this video. It's the next way to support the channel. It's absolutely free. And it's the bare minimum you can do to support the channel. Besides doing nothing, just watch the video. On top of that, we have the Shield Society. Shield Society, $5 a month, really quick, really easy. If you can do it, great. If not, that's great too. I'm still going to give you a video every single day. But if you do decide to join up, you get the videos as soon as I upload them. You get them right away. You don't have to wait for them to be scheduled. On top of that, you get the watch party with me, my analysis, my play-by-play, my takes, my rants, my cheers, all that stuff. We get to do it together. It's a cool little spot, man. It's not very big, but it's a tight group of guys who go in there and really support each other and Raider Nation. On top of that, I give the Shield Society some freebies. I'm going to send some out this week. Those are, just for you guys. I don't even sell this stuff. It's just stuff I'm giving away to Shield Society. If you want to be a part of it, like I said, great. If not, I'm still going to give you a video every single day. But I need you guys to do one thing for me, please. Tell your friends, tell your haters, tell your mamas, tell everybody. Raiders versus the world is the greatest thing going in Raider Nation today. All right, guys, that's my time. Till next time, everybody. Peace.
Hey, Raider Nation, thanks for watching. There's plenty more where that came from. Go ahead and smash that like button, drop a comment, make sure to subscribe and share to all your socials. It's the bare minimum you can do without doing absolutely nothing.